Okay, are we live now? Are we ready to get started here? Lexi, do you see live?
I see live.
Okay, then I think it's time for us to go. Hey, good evening, everybody. Anyone who's joining us, this is Chris Freytag with Get Healthy U and Get Healthy U TV. And I have Lexi with me here, who I will introduce in a moment. We are so excited to be here. I love how technology is changing so much and making all these opportunities for all of us to connect all over the country, all over the world. It's really exciting. I love that so many of you write to our website, Get Healthy U, and Get Healthy U TV, just to differentiate. Get Healthy U is the free content site. Get Healthy U TV is our workout website, the membership site. And people write in great questions. We answer you. We try to answer almost every question within about 24 hours. But it's really fun to speak live. So I'm very excited to be here, answer your health and fitness questions, do what I can to help you out and motivate you. I know we are in the midst of the holiday season, so I just want to say thank you for taking some time. I know these evenings are crazy. People are tired and running, as in all directions. But let me introduce Lexi, one of my editors, who's here with me to be the moderator, and then we'll get right into the questions. Lexi?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lexi. Like Chris said, I'm an editor at Get Healthy U, but also a part of the Get Healthy U TV team. So I'll be passing along all of your questions to Chris tonight, and we're going to try to get to as many as possible so we can take advantage of her time. We have a few pre-submitted questions, so I'll get to those right away. And then if you all have any questions, you can comment below, and we'll get to those throughout the next hour. So our first question is from Debbie, and it says, I like to exercise early in the morning before the day gets away from me. If I work out right after I wake up, what do I eat before and after for the most benefit? Should I eat fruit or maybe some protein? What do you recommend, Chris?
Well, I live that life. So this is a good question. And it's a smart question because people do ask that. If you are waking up early to work out and you're waking up, and early is relative, right? For me, I get up at 4:30, well, tomorrow morning at 4:30, on Tuesdays and Thursdays to teach classes at 5:30. So 4:30 in the morning, I'm not going to eat a full breakfast. But I definitely need some fuel. So I will start with something simple like a carbohydrate that has got a quick release into your system. My choice right now happens to be a banana. It just goes down easy. I eat it in the car with a little cup of coffee and it gets me ready for my workout. Then after my workout, I fuel with a little bit of protein, carbohydrate, and healthy fat. So after your workout, and I'm going to go back to the before again, but after the workout, you want to go do like a 3-to-1 ratio, protein to carbs. So 1 gram of protein for every 3 carbs. So a protein shake, a healthy breakfast, whatever works for you after the workout, and then some healthy fat in there, and that's going to fuel you after the workout. Back to before the workout. So if you're not working out till a little bit later and you can fit in a breakfast, do it. But if you are just, like I think Debbie said, rolling out of bed, a simple carbohydrate, something that releases glucose into your system. When you're sleeping, if you get a good 6 to 8 hours of sleep, you deplete your glucose, your stored glucose, by about 70%, 70 to 80%. So you only got 20 minutes in you before you run out of glucose, and at that point, then you lose your energy levels, you get tired. So just topping off the tank a little bit prior to that early morning workout is a good idea. A lot of people tell me that they can't eat that early in the morning or they can't eat right before the workout, which is why, again, I tend to go for that banana because it's simple, easy on your stomach, but a handful of nuts or like a little part of an energy bar or whatever works. Sometimes an energy drink, that might work.
Love it. I love bananas. Next question is from Danita, and she says, I exercise every day, but I'm not sure how to plan my workouts. Do I do arms one day, legs the next? I need help planning my workout calendar. Can you help me with this?
Another good question. Yeah, people ask that all the time, and I've come to realize over 25 years that people really love to be told what to do. They like to have some sort of a back to that word plan. So first of all, Cross-training is the key to success for many reasons. It'll use your body, all your muscles differently. It's good to get your heart pumping. It's good to use your muscles. And if you are just training for life, as I like to call it, then you don't have to be so particular. Meaning, if you were running a marathon, I would tell you to run, okay? I would have you on a running program. And mostly all running with a little bit of cross-training. But if you're just training to be healthy, to love, to feel good, to maybe take off a few extra pounds, then you got to mix it up so that you stay interested, motivated, and you have fun. So yes, you could divide it up to leg day. You could then do arms. Then you could do total body. You could do cardio one day. You can do it that way, or you can kind of use the rule of thumb that if you are sore, let's say you're doing some upper body work and you're super sore, give those muscles a break for a day or two. Use some different muscles the next day, and then kind of keep recycling. Usually if you're super sore to the touch, you want to take a little bit of break. On the other side, if you are doing total body workouts every day and you're lifting weights but you're not over sore, it's totally fine to use those same muscles the next day. I'm obviously a huge fan of circuits and intervals and things that use your muscles and get your heart rate up at the same time, because that way you get more bang for your buck. I like to get my cardio and strength in at the same time. And if you are a member of Get Healthy You TV, you've really come to find that out with all my workouts. I like to, push it, then take a little rest, push it, take a little rest. Back to a workout program, though, we do have a lot of calendars on Get Healthy You TV that work with all the workouts. So we tell you what to do every day for about 28 days. There's at least 5 or 6 different programs on there. But when you're planning for yourself, kind of go with that rule of thumb that you're going to try to get like 3 strength training sessions in a week, at least 3 cardios in. You can mix and match them. But if a muscle group is truly very sore, give it, a day to 2 days to rest and recover and repair before you go at it again.
Great. And just a reminder for everyone who is joining, if you have any live questions for Chris, you can submit them below this video and we'll get to them as we continue talking. We'll go to a couple more pre-submitted questions, and I can already see some more questions coming in, so we'll make sure to try to get to everything. Another question we have, and I think this is a popular one, how do I lose the belly fat?
Oh, you guys are so good with your questions. That is the age-old question. That is one of the top questions we get at Get Healthy You and Get Healthy You TV. So I've been a trainer for 25 years, and I'm 50. So I'm going to tell you that I guess what I'm going to say is I will never tell you that you're going to lose belly fat overnight. That's not going to happen. And it's different for everybody. There's a couple of things that come into play. How much fat you've had on your belly your whole life, that comes into play. Your age, your habits, your eating habits, hormones, they make a big difference as we're getting older. Hormonal shifts and changes will affect that area. So to lose belly fat, a couple of things have to happen. First of all, you've got to lose fat, period. And to do that, you can't spot select. Like, it would be so nice if you could say, oh, I just want to take some fat off right here, but you can't do that. Fat just kind of comes off all over your whole body. So through cardiovascular exercise, through burning extra calories each day, taking in less, burning more, all within reason, that's going to help you shed the outer layer of fat. I call it the outer layer of upholstery, right? Then you want to tighten and tone those muscles that are underneath the extra fat. And those would be your ab muscles through Pilates, through core work, through planks, through almost all the workouts that I create, at least, incorporate some sort of balance or core training throughout the entire workout. And then that's how you're going to kind of get that midsection back into shape. Now, it's going to be different for everybody, and I love to give people hope. Those of you who know me know that I am all about hope. But I'm also that realist that's never going to tell you, hey, guess what? You're going to take off all that belly fat, next week, because that's not true. And so I want you to work at it. I want you to feel good about yourself. You will start to see changes. You will start to see yourself firm up. And by the way, nutrition, abs are not just made in the gym. They are made in the kitchen. So less food coloring, less additives, less preservatives, more water, less diet drinks and all those things that can bloat you. And just by losing that water weight, you're going to feel thinner in the abs. But the last thing I was going to say is dress for success. As we get older, figure out what your assets are and go for it, girlfriend. Dress to, enhance those areas, and now that there's so many cute outfits that are a little more flowy in the midsection, then you don't have to beat yourself up so much. But I hope I answered that. If any of you are online, you figured out that I really love to talk. This could go on for hours if we let it.
Okay, next question is from Angie, and she writes in, Chris, I love your mantra, work harder, not longer. I get very overwhelmed trying to fit in 3 times per week strength and yoga and all of these different things. I only have an hour to work out. What is the optimal way to schedule this efficiently?
Well, yes, work harder, not longer. That's why I talk a lot about intervals and circuits, because you get more bang for your buck. That's why at Get Healthy UTV, we have a lot of those kinds of workouts where you're combining strength and cardio. And it's the sheer concept of doing strength training with repetition. So doing, continual movement and rhythm and repetition, hence your heart rate goes up. Now, if you are a runner and you're trying to fit running sessions in every week, it depends. Again, back to that, if you're training for a race, you're going to have to really dedicate a lot of time to running. But if you just like to run a couple times a week to clear your head and you like the way it feels, put those 2 running sessions in. And maybe you do, if you like those longer runs, do an hour 1 or 2 days a week, if that's what you like. On those other days, though, mix in, do something where the strength and cardio are combined, so you feel like you're getting that heart rate up, because I know runners love to get their heart rates up. But you're also strength training all of your muscles. And, I talk about my workouts because it's kind of funny. I teach 8 live classes a week. So a lot of my close friends and people in my community come to my classes. And all of my classes are a lot of and I do teach yoga, I do teach spinning, I do teach, some classes that are different, but they're mostly combining that strength with that cardio, where you feel like at the end of the workout, euphoric, I've got my heart rate up, but I've also used all of my muscles. So, fit that in maybe twice a week. Definitely fit in yoga. And you could do yoga. I have a lot of 20-minute yoga programs on Get Healthy UTV. I like sometimes those shorter yogas that relax me and stretch the right muscles, but don't take an hour. Again, if you're trying to conserve on time, maybe one day you do a half-hour yoga, half-hour of Pilates or core work, and that's one day. So I want you to feel comfortable that an hour is plenty a day. If you are doing an hour a day, you are ahead of 90% of Americans. Okay, so feel good about that, but just mix it up throughout the week, and I would definitely suggest combining your strength and cardio whenever possible.
Let's get to some of our live questions here. We have a question from Paula. She said, I'm 62. I have always done some form of exercise. For the past year, I've taken a strength training class, which I love. As we age, should we still push ourselves? Of course, using good form. I guess I'm wondering if it's going to be hard on my joints eventually.
Well, it depends on what you've been doing for the past 20 years, too. So she said she's 62, and I mentioned I'm 50. And I've definitely noticed a change in my body. I mean, the way I am now at 50 versus 30 is completely different. But can you still push yourself? Absolutely. The word push yourself will be different. It will be defined differently. You may, for instance, plyometrics when you're younger, like a jumping bean. Look at little kids. You can jump up and down. It feels so good. As you get older, you might say, I can do plyometrics twice a week. But that's it. That's what my body can take. So push yourself becomes relative. But at any age, you can pick up a set of heavier weights and feel it in your muscles. You want to feel that fatigue in the muscle. You want to feel that fatigue in your workout. But pain is a different story. You never want to work through pain. If you feel pain, then it's okay, I need to change something or see what I'm doing. Or if you feel like something's shoulders, every so often this shoulder hurts me, so I back off a little bit on my push-ups or whatever until it feels better. But the best thing you can do for your joints, the best thing you can do for your muscles is work out. I'm constantly encouraging people as they age. So, push yourself is a very, very personal thing. But yes, keep reaching for. I always joke my classes, go for a PR, right? Or a PB or a PR, personal record, personal best each day, and that's going to be different for everyone.
Great. And just a reminder for everyone who's just coming into this chat, you can submit any questions that you want live down below this video. So we keep getting more questions in, so I'm going to keep firing away once Chris answers everyone. So this is from Mary, and she says, do you have a recommendation for a DVD to start on for an out-of-shape 64-year-old that would help with flexibility and balance?
Well, that's kind of a trick question because many of you know I just started Get Healthy U TV, which is a website membership. And we are offering that first month for $10 to try it out. All you have to do is use the code HAPPY10. And then you can stream any video that we have in the channel on the website every day of the week, any device. So your phone, your iPad, your laptop, your Apple TV, your Chromecast. We actually just finished tutorial videos that are going up on Get Healthy U TV to show you how to actually drop it onto your Apple TV or actually connect your Chromecast. Because I think, at least some people my age go, hey, to your kids, can you help me get this thing connected? But back to the DVD, I don't have DVDs anymore because so many, technology is changing so fast. I don't have a DVD player in my computer or at home anymore. So I'm actually not that familiar with as many DVDs. I will say that I love Leslie Sansone. She is one of my friends, one of my personal friends. I adore her as a woman and as a fitness expert. She has hundreds of walking DVDs out there in the marketplace, and I would always promote one of my friends because I think she is fabulous, and she is great for people in their 60s. It is walk at home program where you're walking at home. I will say, though, I created a walk and tone program that is on Get Healthy U TV, and it's great for those of you who are aging. We're all aging, but those of you who feel like you're just getting started and you maybe have some pounds to lose or whatever it is, and you want to start slowly, that would be a great program. Walk and tone. I have talked to a few people on Get Healthy U TV who have written to me and said they like the walk and tone program kind of as their recovery days, where it's just an active light, in-home walking. So hopefully that helps you. But I guess I would recommend if you're going to go for the DVD and you don't want to go for the online like I'm offering streaming, then my dear friend Leslie Sansone would be a good choice.
All right, we have a question from Sam. This is a great one. We are approaching the holidays, so she says, do you have any tips or tricks you use during the holiday season to keep yourself from totally falling off the health wagon amidst the gloomy weather and surplus of cookies?
Ah, yes. You know what? We just posted at Get Healthy U an article about like the 10 ways to avoid the holiday weight gain. And I actually talked about it on my local TV channel. Any of you from Minneapolis talked about it on NBC on Monday. And so there's lots of tricks. Can I remember all 10? No, because I'm in menopausal memory loss. No, I'm just kidding. But things like, well, one of the things I always do, I never go to a holiday party hungry. Never, never, never. Because if you go to a holiday party, well, I should say starving. A lot of people don't eat all day. And then you get there and you have one drink, and the next thing you know, you're like, your eyes are bigger than your stomach, and you're eating everything in right in front of you. So I try never to be starving. I try to really space out alcohol so that I'm having water in between. I really try to get very systematic about my sleep because it's so hard. In the holiday season, I end up staying up an hour extra to get done whatever I want to get done, and then I'm super tired the next day. So really don't skimp on your sleep. Allow yourself, another trick I always tell people is allow yourself one little indulgence every day so that you don't feel deprived, but that you don't overdo it. You got your one indulgence. And I will joke, Lexi will know, one of our editors, Claire, made these amazing ginger snap cookies that I've been allowing myself one every day because they're so amazing. And I don't want to deprive myself, but I don't want to eat like 4 of them. So it's just being a little systematic. Go and read that blog, though. It's a good one.
I can attest to the gingerbread cookies. They are delicious. So, new question from Kelly. She says, how do you suggest someone who is very overweight to overcome binge eating and to successfully reach their goals without getting so stressed out by looking at the big picture?
Yeah, that's hard. That is hard, Kelly. Kelly, right?
Yes, Kelly.
And It is, because I've worked with a lot of people who have a lot of pounds to lose, and you have to kind of break it down and say, okay, don't look at the big picture and go, oh my gosh, how long is this going to take me? Am I ever going to get there? The people who have been most successful that I've worked with have bit it off in small bites, no pun intended. So have really thought about, okay, what do I want to do for the next 30 days? And I'll use an example of someone I was just recently working with. And so we talked about setting a goal for the next 30 days. And one of them is just to have more energy. We weren't even focusing so much on her weight loss because she was just feeling, as you were mentioning, stressed out, feeling like when she gives up and feels vulnerable, then she binge eats because she thinks, well, who cares? So we started off with like, let's see what it really feels like to feel good inside. And then that transfers to the way you feel on the outside. So we just started with some clean eating. And some very light exercising, some walking, back to my walk and tone program, just walking. And we got a good pair of walking shoes for her and got her moving, right? And so in the first month, she was eating clean. She said, I have more energy. I feel really good, which is bizarre. I'm kind of enjoying this walking thing, worked her way up to a couple of miles. And that was the first month. Then after that, we kept expanding. Well, she lost about, I want to say it was like 8 pounds in the first month, which is pretty exciting because when you lose the weight slowly and surely, it's going to stay off. Amidst that, you have to be changing your habits. So if you go too quick and too big, you just get so lost in it that you give up on everything, and then things like binge eating, feelings like vulnerability come up. And so take it slow, Kelly. Just don't look at that big picture down the road 2 years from now. Just look at like, what can I accomplish every month? And the one thing I want to mention is the word vulnerability. So a lot of people consider vulnerability to be a feeling of shame. I'm a huge fan of Brené Brown. I don't know if any of you read her books. I've just been reading Daring Greatly and Rising Strong. But one thing that will always stick with me is that vulnerability is a sign of courage. Yes, it is. Courage and bravery, not weakness. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you are actually saying, you know what? I am not perfect, but I'm going to go for this. I'm going to tell people I'm going for this. I'm going to keep trying even when I fall off the wagon. So really kind of try to think of your vulnerability as bravery and courage.
Love it. Oh, we have a really nice new comment and a question from Chris. She says, I just joined your Get Healthy You TV. Absolutely loving it. Thank you so much.
Yay, and by the way, yesterday, talking about sore muscles, some of you were asking about that. Yesterday I filmed a new program which is coming on Get Healthy You TV in the next couple weeks. We're editing it right now. It's called The Ultimate Boot Camp. There are 4 different workouts in it, and I am so sore today. Now, I do not recommend that anybody do all 4 workouts in one day. But when filming, we get it done. So today in my class, I was telling my class today, oh, you guys, my triceps, my legs, the program really works. So thank you for joining Get Healthy You TV. Lots of really fun stuff coming up in the future. And I'm enjoying getting to know everybody who's joining.
So Chris's question is, I'm wanting to lose weight and also tone. What would you suggest as a daily routine for training and eating?
Okay, so to lose weight and tone, we were talking about this a little earlier. There are 2 things that can happen simultaneously, all right? And by the way, fat and muscle are 2 totally different things. I hear people say, like, fat turns to muscle, muscle turns to fat. No such thing. They're 2 separate types of body in your body. So muscle can increase while body fat decreases, but they don't turn into each other. The other thing to remember is that a pound of muscle weighs the same as a pound of fat, right? A pound of muscle weighs the same as a pound of fat. However, a pound of muscle is compact, it's dense. Think of it as really dense. It takes a small amount of space. Whereas fat is fluffy, like candy cane, or what is that? Cotton candy. So we could have 350-pound women standing next to each other, and they could all range from a size 4 to a size 12 or whatever based on their body composition. So you want to be adding muscle while you're decreasing fat. Now, to put together your program, body fat comes off all over your body. You cannot decide where to take off fat. If you could, oh my gosh, wouldn't we all love it? If we could say, hey, take an inch over here. That doesn't happen with body fat. It just dissipates off your body as you lose fat. And some people lose fat in different places faster than others. You can spot tone. You can say, I want to have a more toned tricep, so I'm going to do overhead triceps. I'm going to do kickbacks. You can spot tone and pick the muscles you want to work on while you are overall reducing body fat. So I know I sound like a broken record, but I love workouts that combine both strength and cardio at the same time. Because if you're getting your heart rate up let me go back and describe what cardiovascular activity is. People get very confused. And cardiovascular activity means increase the heart rate. The heart rate goes up. There are probably, I don't know, I could rattle off 100 different ways to get the heart rate up. Running, jogging, okay, those are okay. But if you hate to run, I tell people don't run. You could bike, you could dance, you could swim, you could do aerobics with me, you could do kickboxing, you could do jumping jacks, you could squat up and down 200 times. There's no right way. You could dance, did I say dance? You could, whatever it is you like to do, play volleyball, basketball, get your heart rate up. So in these workouts that I've created, you're getting your heart rate up from sheer repetition of whatever exercise we're doing. So if we start with squats and maybe we're thrusting the weights overhead, we're working the lower body. We're working the shoulders with the overhead press, but we're also getting the heart rate up. So we're burning calories and conditioning our heart at the same time. So when it comes to losing weight, I'm a big fan of those types of workouts because a lot of people get hung up with, I don't have time to do my cardio separately of my strength. I got to, if I do my cardio, I run out of time, then I don't have time for strength. So that's why I like to combine them. We do have a couple just only cardio workouts on Get Healthy UTV. We have a kickboxing one, and I just filmed one called Calorie Sizzler, which is just really fun drills. So you can do them separately, but if you are trying to lose weight and you're kind of compressed on time, and I would suggest do those workouts that combine strength and cardio together. Start with whatever weights you can, and as you are building muscle, you will be decreasing fat and hopefully feeling a little euphoric and proud of yourself too as you move along. And then when it comes to eating, that's a whole nother seminar, but I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm a huge, first of all, I love to eat. I love to eat, but I'm really a good eater. I eat really healthy foods. I try to avoid preservatives, food coloring, additives, any kind of chemicals and fake stuff. I try to cook as much as I can of my own food, but life gets busy, and I eat energy bars, and I eat some pre-made foods, but just eat clean. And especially as we get older, it really messes with your mood, your energy, your hormones. I've seen so many people lose weight without dieting, the word diet, which I'm not a fan of, just by changing their food habits to eating real food. I don't know anybody who gained weight eating carrots and apples. Nobody. Knock yourself out. Eat 5 apples a day. You're not going to gain weight. So fill yourself up with plant foods, lean meats, and healthy things like nuts and seeds, and then have those little indulgences every so often.
Great. I know we talked a little bit about belly fat before, but this is a little different question that you might have some insight on. It says, it seems since I hit menopause, I can't seem to get rid of my belly fat. I've never had a flat stomach to start with, but it just seems that I'm a bit thicker in the middle. So specifically dealing with the menopause.
Really? I know. I'm right here. I think I am fully through menopause at this time. TMI, right? But I think I've just hit that part where I can say I'm through. And believe me, Lexi works with me. She knows I have these hot flashes where I'm like, oh my God, everybody open the windows. I'm dying. Hormones just do something to us. But here's what I like to tell people. We have the choice to be positive or to complain, right? And life is too short to focus on the negative. So yes, hormones are playing a game with us, and yes, my memory loss is happening, and my hair is gray, and I feel like, certain things have gotten harder for me, and I'm not sleeping as well, and blah, blah, blah. But the good thing is so many good things are happening in our lives at this time. And the one thing is that your body will still respond to exercise. It will still respond to exercise. So part of what happens in menopause for a lot of people is they are gaining weight, but sometimes it's because they've become more sedentary too. I know when I was younger, I was chasing little kids. I was, more active in some respects in my daily life, and then all of a sudden life slows down. Maybe you have a sedentary job. Maybe you aren't chasing kids anymore. Maybe you're spending a lot of time on the couch. I'll use this as an example. My kids said to me one time, and this was just like a couple years ago, they said, Mom, I think this is the first time I've seen you sit down on the couch. I'm like, what? After 20 years of running around. Now, guess what? I sit on the couch a lot at night just to relax. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is some of it is menopause and some of it is our lifestyles changing to be a little bit more sedentary. So what you want to do is continue to build muscle. Ladies who are entering or coming through menopause, muscle is the secret to metabolism. Muscle burns more calories at a resting heart rate than body fat does. So back to those 3 women I was talking about, all weighing 150 pounds and all looking different. It's because of body composition. Lean muscle and body tissue compared to body fat. So if you continue to add muscle to your body and maintain your muscle, you are going to increase that metabolism and hopefully ward off some of that weight gain. The other thing is, as I was mentioning, the sedentary lifestyle. As we get older, about at the age of 35, we start to lose about a half pound to a pound of muscle a year if you are not actively replacing it. So if you are currently doing no strength training in your 40s, in your 50s, and now in your 60s, it is going to wreak havoc on your body because you'll start to feel like you're gaining fat. And yes, some of it is hormone, but a lot of it is lifestyle, and you can combat it. I hope that helped. I'm right there with you, girlfriend.
All right, so we talked about Christmas a little bit, but this one is about the new year. What is your view on resolutions, and how do you stick to them?
Well, okay. Stay tuned at Get Healthy You and Get Healthy You TV. We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff in January to kind of try to help people reframe the way they look at their health and reboot the way they do things with their diet and their exercise. And I, like I said, I hate diets. The word diets or going on a diet because most people come off them. So resolutions, I always like to say, you know, try to make a start doing list or try to make something that you're going to do in a positive way instead of a negative way. So a lot of times what people do is go, ugh, I got to lose 10 pounds, or I'm so sick of doing this to myself. I'm so mad. I've got to, they frame their resolutions in a negative way. So frame them in a very positive light. Like, this year, I'm going to improve my health numbers. This year, I'm going to take off some weight. I'm going to fit back into those jeans that I love. This year, I'm going to do something from a place of positivity and a place of self-love as opposed to self-loathing, if that makes sense. So stay tuned. January is going to be fun. We always try to really motivate people in January because January is that jump start, but then it's got to continue through the year and become a habit. So we're going to help you with that.
This is a follow-up question to something that you were talking about earlier. It's from Paula. She says, you just mentioned toning the triceps with several exercises. If you really work a muscle hard, how many times do you need to do the exercises for the best results?
Good question, Paula. So kind of the old, the old way, or what we've always recommended as trainers in the past, was do 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. You should feel fatigue. So fatigue feels like, oh my gosh, I can barely do another rep. Okay, that's fatigue. Muscle pain is like, uh-oh, something isn't right. I better stop. That's muscle pain. So you want to reach muscle fatigue. So as I just mentioned, with a weight that brings fatigue, 3 sets with 12 to 15 repetitions would be the kind of recommended daily allowance. However, I do a lot of my programs, and if you're a member at Get Healthy UTV, I do a lot of programs where we just go for an interval. We go for time. I want you to spend less time going like this. 1, 2, 3, and counting. And I want you to spend more time focusing on what muscle group am I working? Am I using good form? How am I feeling? So we do a lot of timed intervals where I'm less concerned about how many did you do on the right side versus the left side. Did you do 12? Did you do 13? It doesn't matter. You went for 30 seconds. Listen, you're not going to be lopsided from doing 12 lunges on one side and 13 on the other. So I'm going to have you go for a period of time, like 30 seconds or 45 seconds. I want you to feel fatigue within that timed interval. So there is really no cookie cutter answer for a lot of this, which is why, people like to do predetermined workouts. It makes it easier so you don't have to come up with it yourself. But if you are lifting weights, go for approximately 3 sets, 12 to 15 repetitions with fatigue.
Okay, this one is from Liz, and she says, I'm 57 and I'm pear-shaped. I've always exercised, but as I get older, I'm more challenged with losing lower body fat. What is the best exercises for reducing thigh and leg fat?
Okay, so yeah, pear-shaped is pretty normal for women, and if that's been your issue your whole life, it could be partially predisposed genetically, but there's a lot that you can do. First of all, don't be afraid of improving your muscle tone in your legs. I hear from a lot of women, oh, I feel like I'm pear-shaped, so I'm not going to do squats and lunges. I don't want my legs getting bigger. But back to that concept, if you were listening earlier about muscle versus body fat, muscle is very compact. It's powerful. It helps you increase your energy. It uses more calories. So it's still good to do your lunges and your squats because you're going to increase your muscle tone, but get your heart rate up. Get your heart rate up and get that cardio, get that heart ticker going, and burn off extra calories. To lose weight, again, it's not going to come off, like you can't spot select just your lower body, but you will lose weight in your lower body if you are losing weight. That whole calories in, calories out is a little oversimplified, but at the end of the day, it is a little bit of a math equation. You got to take off, in less calories and work off more calories. And then to that point, you want to make sure the calories that you're putting in give you nutrients. So you want good calories, not just empty, yicky calories. So there's two things going on, the quantity of food that you're taking in and the quality of food. And then to lose that lower body weight, you're just going to, you want to get, basically the pounds starting to come off. But I also recommend some of the bar classes where there's like really, pulsing, quick moves, really kind of get those muscles toning, but you won't feel like you're using tons of weight. So I wouldn't tell somebody who wants to reduce the size of their lower body to get with a squat rack and put a couple 100 pounds on and go that heavy. That would be ridiculous if you're trying to reduce size. But if you're just trying to, if you're doing things like plies, squats, lunges with 10-pound weights in your hands, that's no problem. So keep on going, keep on trying, but keep working the lower body while trying to take off the pounds.
Great, we're getting some awesome questions here. This is from Vicky, and she says, I'm 47 with an autoimmune disorder and starting menopause. I try to exercise 5 days a week for almost an hour a day. I've been doing the HIIT exercises, which for people who don't know is high intensity interval training. And I've noticed that I lose a lot of hair when I do this exercise. And it isn't as bad when I go through a spell of not exercising. Could I be exercising too much, or does hair loss have nothing to do with exercise? I do love doing HIIT, but I'm worried if it's causing hair loss.
That is an interesting one. I have never heard exercise causes hair loss. I would find that hard to believe, but I am not a doctor, so you definitely want to contact your doctor. I don't know which autoimmune disease you have, but I'm telling you, isn't it fun? We get like these things as we get older and menopause. You know what? But you got to kind of laugh it off a little bit. My girlfriends and I, sometimes we joke. We'll be out, somewhere, and we'll be talking about a subject, and someone will say, "Wait, what are we talking about?" And nobody can remember. We're like, "I don't know what we were just talking about." Oh my gosh, this whole menopause thing is just crazy. And then top it off with an autoimmune. But the hair loss thing, I would just. I wouldn't think HIIT would do that, and I'm such a fan of HIIT. And I would say as I'm getting older, my hair is thinning, absolutely, and my hair is, you guys are really getting to know me well here. My hair is all gray on the front and not gray in the back. So my hairdresser says it's such a challenge because she has to color with a certain color here because it's all like white hair, and then this is all really dark hair, so it has to be a different color. And I've noticed like the more bleach I'm putting on my hair and the more I tug at my hair, I feel like it's getting thinner. My girlfriends and I talk about breakage all the time. I had my hairdresser just change my hairbrush because she said maybe it's the hairbrush that's causing your hair to come out. Maybe it's your diet. I take biotin every day because I know biotin is good for hair and nails. And so I've just been taking that. I have some friends who swear by it and say that biotin has changed things for them. So I have never heard a correlation between exerting exercise and hair loss. That doesn't mean that it's not true because I'm not a doctor, but I've never heard that correlation. And if you are loving and enjoying HIIT, I would research to see if somehow the autoimmune might have something to do with it. Definitely menopause, you do start to thin your hair a little bit. And maybe there's some like treatments that you can do to your hair. Maybe you could try biotin like I'm doing. I also take collagen orally every day. Collagen and hyaluronic acid. I know this is a little off question, but I had this major breakout problem at about age 47. Like it was bizarre. I've never had acne, and all of a sudden my whole face. I know I have 3 sisters, but you know when my 2 younger sisters are like, "Ooh, your face is really bad, Chris." When your sisters are telling you that, you're like, okay, it's bad. And I couldn't figure it out. I did all this testing with food to try to figure out like what was going on with my face. I went to a dermatologist. She had no idea. So, again, I had to kind of be my own detective. And I ended up changing up my skincare. And I ended up taking collagen and hyaluronic acid orally. I'd gotten this advice from someone who was a holistic doctor and or a holistic, person, and had said that collagen can help with skin as we're aging, and hyaluronic acid is kind of like an accelerator, something that a lot of people, will add to something to accelerate its results. And I had such good results overnight that I just stuck with it. So I've been taking collagen every day for about 3 or 4 years. So I know that's a long-winded answer. I really don't know anything about hair loss and exercise being correlated. So my personal opinion was like, come on, keep hitting it, girl, and try to figure out maybe what's going on with your hair in another way. But if you do find out, though, that there is some correlation, you need to write to me so I know.
And Vicki, one other thing I'll add, too, if you go to gethealthyu.com, we do have a blog post on hair loss and a few things that you don't think of that could be causing it. So you may want to check that out, too.
Thank you, Lexi. See, Lexi knows the content sometimes better than me. Gosh, good girl.
No, you were answering perfectly. Just if you want to learn more, Vicki, feel free to check that out. Chris, you mentioned a little bit ago, you were talking about a sedentary lifestyle. For people who have office jobs, are there any exercises that you recommend that they could maybe do at their desks?
Yes. Okay, so on Get Healthy U TV, coming up in the next week or 2, we did do a quick desk stretch. It was like I want to say it's a 10-minute desk stretch that we put together that you can do. You can watch a little video on your laptop and do it at your office, just a quick stretch. But, one of the things that happens, and Lexi can attest to this at Get Healthy U, we are at desks, but we have stand-up workstations. So we literally stand up a good half of the day in our office. Just helps with circulation, helps with your mind and your mood, and you can just make your own. You can literally stack boxes. I'm at my counter right now, but a lot of times at my counter just stand up. I'm in my house right now, my home. I just stand up because it feels better, and you could just put boxes on top and get your laptop up to an ergonomic spot. You could do some lunges and squats in your office. People might look at you like you're crazy, but I guarantee you they might try it themselves. A lot of times people will say, like, what are you doing and why are you doing that? You could do, take some laps around the office. You could find a workout buddy at lunch that will just at least walk with you, because steps are amazing. Just getting in steps. Sometimes people say to me, does that even really matter, Chris? But you know what? Every movement is good movement. And I like even just, stretching to the side and just rotating through your body to get some movement through your spine. It's not good to have your spine compacted all day. So do, light stretching and movement. Walking lunges down the hallway is going to get a lot of people's attention if you start doing that. But, whatever it takes, and also maybe sitting on an exercise ball. I know a lot of people enjoy doing that. We do that sometimes in the office, but you just kind of end up moving around a little bit throughout the day, keeps your energy up and helps with your back.
Okay, next question is from Jen. She says, hi, Chris. I love your workouts. Do you have a kettlebell DVD in the works at all?
A lot of people have been asking that, so maybe it's time to do a kettlebell workout. I love kettlebells. There are a few exercises I can't do because I have a bad back. I have a compressed disc between L4 and L5, and there's just certain things like a Turkish get-up. I'm never going to be doing one of those. But there's a lot of things I can do. Any of you who are on my Facebook, and by the way, we have 2 Facebooks. We have the Get Healthy U TV Facebook and the Get Healthy U Facebook. And I would love for you to be a member at both because we're constantly sending you good info at both. But I did a live feed on the Get Healthy U Facebook just a couple days ago on how to do a proper kettlebell swing. So maybe that should be in the works. Not everybody has kettlebells at home, which is why I've kind of hesitated on that because you hate to put together a 30-minute workout and most people don't have the equipment. But you know what, Jen? Okay, my wheels are turning now. We do a lot of free videos on Get Healthy U TV, just the little 5- and 10-minute ones. I'm going to film one. I am going to film a kettlebell workout for you, Jen. We're filming some more workouts I want to say it's next Tuesday, that will be up on the Get Healthy U TV website by January. So mark my words. I'm going to stay true to my promise. I will do a quick kettlebell workout, maybe a 5-minute one, 10-minute one, and I will have that done for you as soon as January.
Look at that.
Asking you shall receive. Asking you shall receive.
Yes. Okay, this one says, I've lost 5 pounds. I have 10 to go. I am consistent in exercising 3 times a week in class using weights, kettlebells, etc. I also walk several times a week. It comes down to food. What has helped me is going low calorie but very healthy for 1 or 2 days per week. Following my Weight Watchers points does not help me lose weight. What do you do? I often hear clean eating, but that seems too vague to me.
Yeah, I know. Clean eating can be confusing. First of all, yay for you, 5 pounds. That's fantastic. And you've got 10 to go, I think. That's what she said, right? 10 to go?
Yep.
Losing that last 10 pounds is hard. We have a new ebook coming out in the first quarter of 2016 called How to Lose the Last 10 Pounds. A lot of it, and you kind of answered your own question, is food and right here. It is really, and I'm kind of a mentalist in the sense that since I swear I was 2 years old, I've been a positive person. My mom always said that I could find like the silver lining in everything. And believe me, I have my bad moments, but I don't know what it is. I just always try to look at things from like, okay, do the best you can, be positive, and keep that aura around you, and good things happen. But beyond that, food really is the issue. And so when it comes to clean eating, I really am a big fan of Michael Pollan. So he wrote the book In Defense of Food, Food Rules, Cooked, I think is his most recent book. But his mantra is this: eat real food, mostly plants, not too much. Eat real food, mostly plants, not too much. So if you think about that, like I said earlier, who do you know that got fat eating carrots and apples? Nobody. I'm not afraid of fruit. People will tell me, oh my gosh, you eat fruit. Isn't that full of sugar? No, it's full of natural sugar. I do not shy away from natural sugar. I will eat a banana. Yes, I hear people tell me they're afraid of bananas. I don't know why. We have an amazing blog about that. I eat, quite a bit of fruit during the day, but I eat a lot of vegetables, tons of vegetables. And I dip them in homemade hummus. And I dip them in avocado dip, in guacamole. Sometimes homemade, sometimes store-bought. I'm like addicted to holy guacamole. Have you ever heard of that? It's WHOLLY, holy guacamole, and they come in these little 100-calorie packs, and I dip my veggies into it. I eat a lot of lean meats. I eat eggs. I don't do a whole ton of dairy. I do Greek yogurt every day. Lexi can attest to that. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not eating a Greek yogurt for my protein and to satisfy my sweet tooth. I mix in just a little bit of sugar, sometimes stevia, and I drink almond milk. I put that in my smoothies. I do grab a protein bar when on the run. I do eat lots of healthy nuts. I'm an almond freak, walnuts. I love sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. I eat a lot of healthy oils. Like I stir fry veggies all the time in coconut oil or olive oil. I use a lot of herbs. So I know I'm kind of babbling right now, but it really does come down to like really making good choices. And when it comes to those last 10 pounds, it is all about real food. And skipping anything processed that you can, and really focusing in on protein at this point. I'm a huge fan of quinoa because it is a grain, but it's a perfect protein. So a lot of vegetarians love quinoa because it has a complete protein chain. So it acts like an animal protein in that way. So it satisfies and it feeds your muscles. But you feel like you're eating a grain, and I love that. I eat tons of zucchini noodles. We have a zoodler. I don't know if you have a zoodler, but you can zoodle up those zucchinis into spirals, and then you feel like you're eating pasta, but you're really just eating water. We eat a lot of cauliflower rice. We have an amazing recipe on Get Healthy U for cauliflower rice, and I'll stick that in a burrito. I'll stick that in with like a taco salad and add some of that on top with some grilled chicken. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. It is literally just kind of getting away from any processed carb possible. I know I'm talking about this during the holidays, for goodness sake. I just told you that I ate a ginger cookie today. But, it's a lot of moderation. And those last 10 pounds, if you just slowly, like I have seen it happen so many times for my clients and people that I work with online, and all different, and over the last 20 years, where if they just focus in on whole foods, real foods, clean foods, plant foods, for for a certain period of time, that weight will start to fall off and your body shape will change.
Great, and we have just about 10 minutes left, so feel free to submit any of your final questions down below. We'll try to get to those final questions. We just have a few minutes left. Chris, you mentioned that you yourself have back pain, and I know we often get a lot of questions about knee pain too on our site. What relief have you been able to find? Certain exercises or stretches? What do you do when you are dealing with that pain?
Okay, so that's a really good question, because I think there's some stat out there that like 80%, 90% of all Americans will have back pain over the age of like 45 or 50 at some point. And my spine doctor has told me before, he said, listen, any woman over the age of 40 who has been active their whole life, or for that matter has been sedentary and just sitting and putting pressure on that spine, is going to have some wear and tear if we did an MRI. And sometimes MRIs are our friends, and sometimes they're a problem, like my spine doctor said, because he said now people can see inside their body and go, oh my gosh, look at all this wear and tear. It's pretty normal. So everybody's pain is going to be different. If you have nerve pain, so if you think about your back, you've got 24 vertebrae down your back, and in between each vertebrae is a watery disc. And over time, those discs are going to compress. In some cases, they may get, herniated, degenerated. There's all different words for it. My L4 and L5, it used to be like a watery grape, and then it was kind of smushed, and now it's like completely a pancake. Now, the luck for me is I have no nerve pain. If you have shooting nerve pain down your legs, because there's nerves that go into that spinal column, that's a whole nother problem. You need to be, talk to a doctor, and a lot of people get relief from really good stretching, from physical therapy. For me, with no nerve pain, it is all about managing my own physical therapy. So I use a foam roller. I just demonstrated a foam roller a couple of days ago, about maybe 6-7 days ago, on Get Healthy U's Facebook page on how to use a foam roller, and I roll out my muscles. So here's what you think of it. A foam roller, it looks like a styrofoam, log, and there's different densities. So some are harder than others. I like the ones that are fairly firm. And you're going to roll over those muscles. So wherever you've got tightness or soreness, upper back, shoulders, hips, because a lot of low back problems stem from glutes and hips. And you roll it out. You want to think of it's called self-myofascial release. So underneath your skin is webbing. It's fascia. And that fascia can get really super tight, and it can even get knotted up. So when you foam roll, you're basically, first of all, creating friction and heat. So you're increasing circulation. You're softening up that fascia and those muscles, and you're working out those adhesions. Then I take a massage ball, which looks like it's a cross between a lacrosse ball and a tennis ball. It's not as hard as a lacrosse ball, but it's not as soft as a tennis ball. And I literally just put it into the small of my back, and I lay down, and I just find where my pressure points are, or those tender points are, and I just kind of knead into it then and hold it there. So I do that, and this is no joke, every single day. So a lot of times when I get up in the morning, for about 5 to 10 minutes before I leave the house, I just roll out on the floor the different parts of my body, usually my hips and my back for sure, sometimes my hamstrings and quads, and then I take my little massage ball and just kind of get into those pressure points in my back. That really, really helps me. Another thing that I know helps is yoga, and I teach yoga, but when you're teaching yoga, oh gosh, I'm sorry, and that's my sister. That's my sister. But yoga. I teach yoga, but when I'm teaching yoga, I don't get to do the yoga because I'm instructing it. So I need to take my yoga class and be diligent about it, stretching every week, and that really helps my back. And then you really want to make sure your abs are nice and strong. Part of the problem with a back problem is weak abs, because your core is three-dimensional. It's all the way around you. So if your abdominals are weak, your back can be affected. And I want you to think about your low abs, and I'm kind of low. Let me see if I can turn my computer down here. Okay, so right here, this muscle that goes around you, it is horizontal. So you've got your vertical crunching muscle right here, and you have your waist whittlers, your obliques. But this muscle right here is called the transverse abdominis, and it acts like a belt. Not only does it firm and flatten your abs, but it protects your low back from injury and pain. So if you have weak abs, if you haven't been doing any exercises at all, or perhaps after childbirth, those abs weaken up a little bit, it can affect your back. You can get low back pain. So a couple of things for back pain. It's not universal because everybody's back pain is different, but get those abs tight. We have a great Pilates workout, several of them on Get Healthy UTV. I am a Pilates instructor and a yoga instructor, so I'm very focused on those as being a part of your week. If you have like back pain like I do, which is part of it old age, part of it is overuse, part of it could be genetics, I do my foam rolling and my little massage ball. And then, the other thing you want to do is just pay attention to what exercises hurt you. I can't swan dive forward. In a yoga class, or if you've ever watched any of my videos, I can swan dive, but I always bend my knees. I can't do it with straight knees. So you have to also kind of get to know your body and then do what works for you. When it comes to knees, I want to mention the knee pain really quick. A lot of people have bad knees, and part of it can be underuse. Like you haven't done anything physical for a while, so when you start to do something physical, they hurt because they are a joint. Part of it is being overweight. That's a lot of pressure on your kneecaps. Part of it is improper use of them when you're exercising. So when you do squats and lunges, if you work out with me on any of my workouts, I'm always trying to give you really good form tips for your squats and lunges to try to take the pressure off of your knees. But if you are just getting started with exercise and you do have bad knees, we have a great workout on Get Healthy U to combat knee pain, which is all exercises that put less body weight into the knees. So things like glute bridges on your back, hamstring roll-ins on the ball. There's a bunch of different exercises in there, but things that can reduce a little bit of stress, even like leg lifts, resistance band work, where you're putting less body weight into those knees. But joints can be strengthened. You want to make sure that you mobilize joints. So you want your joints to move freely, shoulders, hips, and all the hinge joints, and then you want to strengthen them. And by stabilizing and strengthening a joint, you are actually creating better mobility for your whole body, if that makes any sense. I'm telling you, I could talk about this all night. I know we're going to run out of time.
Well, this is great. We just have a final question, which actually kind of probably leads you into your closing. This will be our last one for the night before we go. But someone actually wrote in before. Her name is Connie, and she was unable to attend because she was at a business dinner. But for the rest of you, if you want to share this with any of your friends or family or want to watch it again, she asked, is there any chance of a rebroadcast or downloadable file being available after this live chat?
Yes and yes. So you're on GetHealthyUTV.com right now, and you're seeing this. Tonight, after we're done here, this will go live at my Get Healthy U YouTube channel. So all you have to do is search Get Healthy U, Chris Freytag, search my name, you'll find it. And it'll be live there. But tomorrow, after the techie people get into the office and do their magic, this will be live on GetHealthyUTV.com, again, tomorrow. So you will absolutely be able to rewatch this broadcast if you have any interest in that. So is that our last question, Lexi? Is that our last? Okay, so first of all, thank you, Lexi, for joining me, girlfriend. I love you. But this has been really fun. I'm going to be doing more of this for our Get Healthy UTV members. And I just want to say right now, seriously, a wholehearted thank you for being my workout buddy. I love working out with you. For those of you who are new to Get Healthy UTV, just thinking about it, new to exercise, or thank you for joining tonight. I have been making fitness videos for way too long. I joke about it sometimes. I started when there was just VHS. And I remember having my first VHS tape made, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. Then we moved into DVDs, and that was like super, super awesome and exciting. And now, even at my age, at 50, I was like, what? We're going to give up DVDs? But I'm telling you right now, get with the technology. Get your kids, get your nieces, get your nephews, get somebody to help you, and get set up. Because once you're set up, it is so easy. And you can stream workouts on your phone, on your iPad, on your tablet, on your laptop, on your big family room TV. Yes, Apple TV. My hairdresser, the one I was telling you about, she's a Get Healthy UTV member now, and she calls me one night and she goes, for the love of Pete, how do I get this thing on my Apple TV? So we walked her through it, and she got it on her Apple TV. We're putting a tutorial up to show you how to work some of these technical things, because I promise you it will get easier. But I am just so excited about Get Healthy You TV. It's the wave of the future. I used to make like one DVD a year, and that was kind of the big thing. I'm filming every like 2 months, and I'm going to be bringing you new workouts all the time, new program calendars. I put together a different program calendar, and sometimes we combine the programs so that you have a little variety in your exercise. I am always here to answer your questions. You can, on Get Healthy You TV, there's a little button down at the bottom that says Ask Your Coach. That's me. You can ask me a question anytime you want to, and I will get back to you, hopefully within a day, sometimes 2 days. At Get Healthy You, my whole team, we're all here to help you out. I want to see you succeed. That's my mission, and my team too. As I've gotten older, like, I appreciate a lot of different things in life as I get older, but one of the things I really appreciate is my health. I want to live into my old age. I want to see my grandkids. I want to play with my grandkids. I want to enjoy my husband. I want to enjoy my family and my friends, and your health is such a big part of it. You can have everything you want in the world, but if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And as we get older and our hormones are taking over and stuff, to keep a clear head, I'm telling you, the one drug of choice, exercise. Endorphins. It makes such a difference. So I hope, if you are working out with me right now, I hope you're getting to know me a little better. I'm so thankful that you are a part of our community. If you are thinking about joining, I encourage you can use the code HAPPY10 to get the first month for $10 and try it out and see what you think. And I wish you all a very healthy, happy holiday. Lots of workouts to come. And by the way, if you've watched any of the workouts, I do the workout with you. I am dying right along with you. I am sweating and doing all the exercises. Some of these trainers who make DVDs and they don't do any of the exercise, they walk around and help other people. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it right with you and show you that I too am challenged. So I have people sometimes write in and go, Chris, you're breathing so heavy. I'm like, duh, it's hard. Anyway, okay, that's enough. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Lexi. So much appreciation at this time of year to our community and to all of our fans. My whole team appreciates you. I have such a cool team. I can't wait to show you some behind the scenes. And with that, I guess it's time for us to go, huh? Yes? Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Can't wait to get together again with you. Hopefully, January, that's our season. We're going to get things moving and take care of your health.